Hi guys, so today we're going to talk about slope-intercept form of linear equations. This is something that you would have done in junior high, so do it quite a lot in 7th grade and 8th grade. It's just using the slope and the y-intercept of your equations, okay, of your graphs to write the equation. So slope-intercept form is the y equals mx plus b form that you are used to seeing. M is going to be our slope or rate of change. And we've been talking about slope from graphs and from tables, from 2 points. So we've already familiarized ourselves with what slope is and with rate of change. Okay. So just as a reminder, it is your change in y over your change in x. Okay, or your rise over run. So, all right. The other piece of information that we need to be able to write our mx plus b equation is our y-intercept. So the y-intercept is the b part of our equation. On a graph, it is the 0y point that we talked about last week. Okay, but it is the actual y values which you're wanting for your y-intercept. Okay, so again, slope, the rate of vertical change to horizontal change is our rise over run. All right, just to put it actually in words for us. So we've got 4 types of slope. We have a positive slope where our rise goes up in a positive direction and our run goes to the right in a positive direction. Now, if we're graphing these points, we can, once we get to our y-intercept, and we're graphing it on a coordinate plane, if we run out of space on our coordinate plane by going up and to the right, then we could also go down in a negative direction and then left in a negative direction. Okay, this is going to be our positive slope. Okay, if you recall, positive divided by a positive will give us a positive, and negative divided by a negative will also give us a positive. They just have to be either 2 positive directions or 2 negative directions. Okay, now a negative slope goes down as you look at it from left to right, like if you're reading a book. Okay, positive direction goes up, left to right, both x and y are increasing. With a negative slope, it goes down as you look at it from left to right. Your x is increasing, but your y is decreasing when you're looking at the actual values. Okay, again, starting with our y-intercept, we're going to go down in a negative direction and then go right in a positive direction. Or we can go up in a positive direction and go left in a negative direction. And that's going to give us our negative slope. Okay. The other 2 slopes that we've talked about previously is our zero slope. Now, zero slope has a run, whatever value you want to give it. It has a run, but there is no rise. So when we do rise over run, we get a zero slope. Okay. With our vertical lines, we have a rise, however many units you count. Okay. But there's no run. So when we do rise over run, we get something that is undefined. Okay. We also call this no slope. All right. So those are our different types of slope. If you look up here at the top right here, we have our little slope face guy here that just uses our positive and negative, undefined, and zero slopes just to make a little face. You can use that on your, you could draw it on your tests or quizzes or on your assignments just to help you remember which direction each slope is going. Okay. So let's talk about the linear parent function. First thing we want to do is find our y-intercept. So it crosses the y-axis right here at 0, 0. So the b part of our equation is going to be that 0 right there. So b equals 0. For our slope, we just need to pick any other point on the graph, and it doesn't matter which point we pick. I'm picking 4, 4 just because it's enough space that we can actually see what's going on. So I'm going to go up 4 in a positive direction, and then we'll go to the right 4 in a positive direction. So when we do our rise over run, 4 over 4, we end up with our slope of 1. Okay, so m equals 1. When we go to write our equation, okay, if you recall, it is y equals mx plus b. And we're just going to substitute in our m and our b. So we're going to have y equals 1x plus 0. Okay. We only have, if it's a 1x, we don't have to write the 1 in there. If our slope is 0, or our, my y-intercept is 0, we don't necessarily have to write that on there as either. So we can just write it as y equals x. Okay. This is what's called the linear parent function. It's important to remember your linear parent function because the linear parent function is a starter function. Okay. As we talk about different functions throughout the year, the linear parent function is the starter function for lines. Okay. That's what it starts as. And then anytime we multiply to it or we add or subtract it, we change how the line is presented. Either we change where the y-intercept is or we change how steep it is. And so then that becomes a child function. Okay. So linear parent function, once we make changes to it, it becomes the child function. And we've got our transformations. All right. So let's talk about how to find, let's look at a couple of examples about how we can write a slope-intercept equation from a graph. So first thing I want to look for anytime I am writing a slope-intercept equation or slope-intercept form of a linear equation, I want to find my y-intercept. So my y-intercept is at 0, 4, which means my b is 4. Then I need to pick any other point on the line, and it doesn't matter where that point is. I just need to pick another pretty point on the line. So again, I'm picking this one. There's several pretty points all along this line. I'll go ahead and point a few out here. You can see where they're coming in. I'm writing them in here. And it doesn't matter which pretty points you choose. Just pick 2 pretty points to be able to work with, okay? So I'm going to use this one up here at 4, 7. I'm going to go up 3 units, 1, 2, 3. And then I go to the right, 1, 2, 3 units. Okay. So my slope is 3 over 3, which then gives me an actual slope of 1. Okay, so my m equals 1. So my equation is going to be y equals, and again, my slope is 1. I don't have to write the 1 in, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to. So 1x, and then my y-intercept is a positive 4, so plus 4. That's my equation, y equals x plus 4. For example 2, we do our y-intercept at -1, so 0, -1, and our b is at -1. The slope, again, let's find some other pretty points on here, and we can choose whichever pretty points we want to use when we're actually calculating our slope. Okay, you don't have to use the y-intercept, but since it's already identified, it's kind of an easier point to use. So you just have to pick one other one. Okay. If I were to choose, let's say this point here at -6, -4, I can go up 3. And then I'm going to go to the right 6. So again, I'm moving in 2 positive directions. I'm going 3 over 3. Or sorry, 3 over 6. So my slope is going to be a positive slope. I have to simplify my fraction. And again, any 2 points, doesn't matter which 2 points you choose, it should all simplify down to the same slope. So 1 over 2. Okay. If I had chosen to go from my y-intercept up to the point at 10, 4, I would go up 4. Sorry, up 5. Excuse me, I was not looking at the right place. And then right 10. So again, if I did 5 over 10, 5 over 10, I end up simplifying to 1/2. So it does not matter which 2 points you choose, it will simplify to the same slope. Okay? So my equation is going to be y equals 1/2 x minus 1. Okay? All right. We have 2 more examples to look at. So for example 3, this one should be a negative slope. It's going down in a negative way. As our x values get bigger, our y values are getting smaller. So this is a negative slope. Okay. Again, we still want to identify our y-intercept first. So it's at 0, 4. So there's my my y-intercept there at 4. I've got points here at -1, 8, 1 at 0, 1, or sorry, excuse me, 1, 0, at 1, 0, 1 at 2, -4, and 1 down here at 3, -8. So for my y-intercept, if I go down 4, I go right 1. So 4 over 1. That should be a -4 because I'm going down. Okay, so -4 over 1 is going to give me a slope of -4. So in my equation, we have y equals -4 x excuse me guys, sorry about that. -4x plus 4. And my negative disappeared on me. There we go. Negative 4x plus 4. All right. And then our last equation, let's take a look at this one. Our y-intercept is here at 0, 4. So our b is going to be a 4. For our slope, I have no rise. Okay, it's not going up or down. But for my run, I look at just picking a couple of points on the graph here. For my run, if I go from my y-intercept to say this point right here, that is a plus 5. So when I do 0 over 5, I'm going to get 0. So then my equation, y equals 0x plus 4. Okay. Now, typically, if it's a 0 times your variable, we're not going to write anything for it. Okay. I put it here for demonstration purposes, but 0 times anything is just 0. So I don't even have to write this down. This should actually simplify to y equals 4. So your horizontal lines are just going to be y equals whatever your y-intercept is. Okay. All right, guys. You need to work on your assignment at this time. You have a few graphs to find your slope and y-intercept and then write your equation. If you have questions, you can contact me through Schoology or Remind, and I will try to help you out that way. Or you can ask one of the other algebra teachers. All right. Have a great day, guys. I will see you tomorrow.